Hey, what's up, YouTube? So the Philadelphia 76ers and Bryan Colangelo, their president of basketball operations over this past year, have decided to officially part ways after a very interesting set of events that took place over this past week where, if you haven't been following some of the news that have gone on, last week in a story produced by the website The Ringer, they detailed that Colangelo or somebody within the 76ers front office used burner accounts on Twitter, basically fake accounts on Twitter, to criticize players and disclose sensitive information about the organization throughout this past season. Now, to go into some specifics, they criticized players such as Nerlens Noel for being a very bad teammate during his time in Philadelphia, criticizing Sam Hinkie, the former GM and president of basketball operations, and also gave about some detailed information about some of the injuries to some of their players, particularly Joel Embiid and Markelle Fultz. The 76ers, in kind of response to this, they performed their own private investigation. They found that Colangelo, or at least someone close to him, was behind and had some control over these accounts. And then because of this, Colangelo ended up resigning and parting ways with the organization. He cited that he had no knowledge of this and that these were the accounts of his wife. Very interesting there. And now that that's kind of out of the way, Brett Brown, their head coach now, he will be taking over in terms of being the front office front man, at least on an interim basis, until they find their next president of basketball operations and their next GM. And for me, this is obviously a necessary move for the 76ers. Just the fact that the Colangelo is connected to these tweets in any way, that's a huge breach of trust, I think, between him and the players, and you definitely do not want that in your organization, especially when you're a team like the 76ers that are a rising team, really, in the Eastern Conference with stars like Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid. That's a very bad look for the organization, especially for a team that's looking to make some big additions in this offseason to really create a spark plug and really become a dominant contending team in the Eastern Conference. It just seems like if Colangelo would have stayed, that players will just be unwilling to sign a free agency, and that the players on the current roster right now would just be on edge from the fact that they don't know whether Colangelo or whoever was in charge of the accounts would be criticizing them and made known whatever was going on behind the scenes, made that known to the public. It would just been a very bad look for the organization if they would have continued that trend. So obviously it was great. It was a good move to just kind of, rid themselves of that. Colangelo did step down, so he was the one that ended up resigning. But regardless if Colangelo knew or not, this has just got to be pure stupidity on his part that this even happened. Even if he didn't know that this was going on, it's just stupid because he doesn't really need to share all this information anyway. All this inside information, such as the detailed injury reports, which is just very shocking. It could, even for stuff like criticizing Sam Hinkie and Nerlens Noel, stuff like that, that could be kind of misconstrued as just a random person on Twitter just talking out of his ass or something like that. But with the detailed information about some of the injuries with Joel Embiid and Markelle Fultz, man, I can understand telling some of your close ones a few things here and there, but to go into such detail like that, that's just very bad, I think, on the part of Colangelo to kind of do that. And if he did know that these, or he did have control over these accounts, that's just so dumb. It just to just allow that to happen in the first place. It was just so unnecessary. He's got to know that with the internet at this point, that anything can be traced back to you if someone's willing to do enough digging. Just a very unnecessary just to do that. It just comes off as him being desperate to show that he's doing a good job as the president of basketball operations for the 76ers to kind of prop himself up, if that would be the case. I kind of find it hilarious personally that he was putting this on his wife. Man, I wonder how those conversations are going to go between those two in the next coming weeks or so. I don't want to be part of that marriage, I can tell you that. Really, but what can be expected from Bryan Colangelo? This is a guy that, really, if you really think about it, the only reason why he has this job is because the 76ers, the NBA, they're really getting mad at Sam Hinkie, their former president of basketball operations, for purposely tanking and losing games. So they took him out of the presidency role of the organization, and they put Bryan Colangelo in there basically because his father is a huge part of USA basketball. If you really think about it, that's really the only reason why he is in this position anyway. And for him to just be so dumb in that position, or he's had GM experience before in the past, specifically with the Toronto Raptors, it's a terrible look, I think, for this guy, and just really, really dumb in general, just unnecessary dumb, however you look at it. But however, for the 76ers moving forward, their outlook here by moving on here, I think this allows him to have a clean slate, I think, for the organization going forward. Brett Brown, he's still a very highly respected figure, especially as a coach. And he should be able to attract some free agents going into the offseason here. He does have a nice control over the roster in terms of the draft with that coming up. And Joel Embiid and Simmons, they're locked up for a long time. So, again, there's not going to be any friction between them now in terms of extending those guys long-term on contracts. And there are two very enticing pieces for this team to kind of build around here. And they put that on display last season where they were one of the best teams in the NBA in the second half of the season, specifically when they went, like 11 wins in a row in the regular season or something like that. They played their best basketball at the end of the season. They really showed some significant growth. So I think with Bryan Colangelo now officially out of the picture, whatever stupid things he was doing behind the scenes with the Twitter accounts there, I think this should not be a huge issue going forward for the 76ers. And I think they'll be definitely in play for a guy like a LeBron James or a Paul George, some of the big-time prime free agents that you're looking for into this free agency period as we start to move over to the NBA offseason going forward. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Did you think this is just totally on Bryan Colangelo and just some of the just really idiotic things that he did with this entire situation here? Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you're a Philadelphia 76ers fan, how are you feeling about your team going forward as we enter the NBA offseason? Please leave a like and subscribe for more videos such as this. Thanks, guys, for watching.